Today on your Focus on Sports, Fresno State men's basketball lost their second straight game over the weekend in Bakersfield.
Plus, the women's basketball team is riding high after 2 wins on the week. Focus on Sports starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to your Focus on Sports. I'm Al Scott.
And I'm Brian Welch. We have a great show for you today. The Fresno State football team is back in action against Colorado State this Saturday for senior night. The Dogs are coming off a bye week last week, but last time out, the Dogs fell to Air Force 36-28 in Colorado Springs. The Dogs are 5-5 overall, and they need one more win to be bowl eligible this season. Interim head coach Tim Skipper says that the Rams' offense of Colorado State has changed from last season.
They've kind of changed their offense a little bit from last year to this year. The quarterback's slinging it, throwing it all over the yard in previous years, and then this year they've kind of changed it, going to more relying on their O-line, their running backs, and handing that thing off.
Dogs take on the Rams at 7:30 at Valley Children's Stadium.
How important will Elijah Gilliam and the Bulldogs' run game be towards winning at Colorado State?
You know what, Al? Every time the Bulldogs run the football well, they tend to win, especially with Elijah Gilliam and also Bryson Donaldson. If the Bulldogs can run the ball well against Colorado State on Saturday, they can get the job done. What about you, Al?
2 of his best games this season came against San Jose State and Nevada, as you mentioned. Those were probably 2 of the Bulldogs' best wins this season. I think if he runs well, it opens up the pass game. My question for you is, how do the Bulldogs stop the Colorado State running game?
Well, Colorado State has 2 running backs that can run the football really well. The Bulldogs, especially last time out against Air Force, they struggled to stop the run. If the Bulldogs defense cannot stop the run on Saturday night, it's going to be a struggle for Fresno State.
They're going to need Malachi Langley and Devo Bridges, amongst others, to step up.
But it's going to be pretty big on Saturday night.
Fresno State men's basketball is now 1-2 after losing to Valley rival CSU Bakersfield this past Saturday. The Bulldogs tipped off the rally for the Valley with a back-and-forth first half. Forward Elisha Price was hot to start, dropping 9 points in the first 10 minutes of the game. Going into halftime, the Dogs were down by 5. The Roadrunners poured it on in the second half, though, outscoring the Dogs by 13. The Dogs could not find the net, and the Roadrunners were active on the boards, out-rebounding the Bulldogs 51-27. Poor shooting, rebounding, and turnovers sank the Bulldogs' hopes as they lost 74-58. Wahlberg said after the game that Zion Collins may have suffered a high ankle sprain in the second half. His 12 points led the Bulldogs in scoring. Wahlberg also said that he needs to do a better job of getting his team ready to play.
We just got to get tougher. We got to get tougher. We got to get better, and I got to find a better job of getting people in the right spots.
The Bulldogs will look to get back on track at home as they host the Panthers of Prairie View A&M this Wednesday. Tip-off set for 7 p.m.
Only a few games into the season. How does this team look in your opinion, Al?
My biggest question is Zion healthy? If he's healthy, I think they'll be fine. It's very early in the season. They've got 16 players, only 2 of which returning from last year, with an entire new coaching staff. My biggest thing, can they stay healthy? Well, not only can they stay healthy, can they shoot the ball well? In the dribble drive offense that Wahlberg wants to have, they're going to need to shoot the ball well to open up those lanes inside.
Well, especially, you know what, you're going up against Prairie View A&M on Wednesday night. Aguilar has to have a big game. You know what? If Collins might be out for the game on Wednesday night, Aguilar has to fill those size shoes because you know what? That offense is moving well when he's shooting the ball well.
He had over 20 points in the second half in the first 2 games of the season. Can he replicate it for both halves is what I want to see. Him and a couple other guys, you know, Price did well on Saturday. They're going to need some other guys to step up if Collins is out.
Hopefully the offense can catch fire on Wednesday night. The Fresno State women's basketball team was back in action against Southern Utah last Wednesday night. The Dogs look strong with this shot from Kylie Fox as Mia Jacobs does Mia Jacobs things with this drive to the cup for 2. Do not forget about the sophomore Taja Santa Maria coming right into your living room with this layup. Southern Utah came back in the second half, but the Bulldogs sealed the deal, defeating the Thunderbirds 67-59. Head coach Jamie White says the Dogs had a good start against the Thunderbirds.
I thought we played from behind a little bit at times. I thought we had a good start, so just a little bit of everything. Would have loved to not let that kid hit those threes, but I thought Mia was huge getting to the free throw line, knocking down her free throws.
Bulldogs played yesterday against UCSD and beat the Tritons 65-53 in San Diego. The Bulldogs are back in action this Friday at home against CSUN.
Fresno State women's volleyball had a senior night in a thrilling matchup against Wyoming over the weekend. Here's how it all happened. Friends and family gathered to celebrate with the seniors for their dedication and time here at Fresno State. The Dogs started things hot with production from seniors Ella Rude and Casey Puri. Rude had a game-high 18 kills. Puri recorded 10 total blocks in the match, tying a team high that she set earlier in the season in October against Nevada. The Bulldogs won the first set 25-21. However, the Cowgirls fought back, taking control of the next two sets. That didn't stop the Bulldogs as they stormed back with a kill from Addison Haluska to win set 4, 25-22. On to the fifth set, it was no different as the Bulldogs showed no mercy to Wyoming as they won the fifth and final set 15-7 to take home the victory.
It means so much. I mean, from being here freshman year, we've gone through a lot of changes, and I couldn't have asked for a better group to finish my senior season with. So knowing that we went out on a high note is the best feeling.
The Bulldogs will be facing the San Jose State Spartans tomorrow night at 7 as part of the Mountain West block party. Gazzaniga also mentioned that they are focused on adding another Mountain West title. When we return, we take a look at how Derek Carr and the Saints did over the weekend.
Also take a look at the 4 California teams in the NBA and how they are doing this season. That's all coming up right after the break.
I got the Bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head.
Up in my head.
I got that Bulldog spirit. Up in my head. Up in my head to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. Got that Bulldog spirit. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit. Down in my toes. Hey. Down in my toes to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit. Up in my head. Deep in my heart. Down in my toes. I got that Bulldog spirit. All over me. All over me to stay. I got that Bulldog spirit.
Deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart. I got that Bulldog.
Derek Carr was firing on all cylinders yesterday as the Saints hosted the Cleveland Browns. The former Bulldog completed 21 of 27 passes for 248 yards. This included a pair of touchdown passes to wide receiver Marquez Valdez-Scantling and tight end Juwan Johnson. The Saints would go on to beat the Browns 35-14. New Orleans is 4-7 this season. However, they are 4-4 when Carr started. In New York, Devontae Adams had 6 catches for 72 yards. It was not enough, however, as the Jets fell to the Indianapolis Colts 28-27. Adams and the Jets are now 3-8 on the year with their playoff hopes fading fast. Brian, the Saints have lost 2 straight games, and prior to that, they've won 2 straight games. Prior to that, they lost 7 straight. They're now only 2 games back in the division. What do they need to get back into the playoff picture?
Well, I mean, I talked about this a little bit earlier in the season. Just do what the Saints have been doing, especially with Derek Carr being comfortable in the pocket. And also, oh, by the way, Taysom Hill having the time of his life yesterday in the Superdome.
Touchdowns.
Exactly. You know what? Having those 2 players, but it takes a whole village. And I think the Saints can do it. The thing is that they have to be smart and they have to have a little bit of help along the way, especially with the Falcons.
They've gotten some help, as you mentioned, the Falcons having some injuries on defense. Obviously, the Buccaneers had some injuries to Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. Both of those teams are looking very beatable. The Saints, it's right there for the taking. If they can get in there, if they can get healthy, Marquez Valdez-Scantling is looking like a huge pickup. Him and Carr have been connecting 2 weeks in a row.
Well, hey, hopefully the Saints can find a way to get that, win the division. But moving on to the NBA, a California team sits atop of the Western Conference. Golden State leads the Western Conference with a record of 10-2. Their recent win against the Grizzlies extended their win streak to 3. The Lakers are not far behind. They currently boast a 9-4 record, and they are the 4th seed in the West. JJ Redick's squad has won all 5 of their last contests. Sacramento is struggling to figure things out. Over the last 10 games, they are 6-4. They currently sit in the 9th seed. The Clippers currently have the worst record in California. They are 7-7, and they are sitting in the 11th seed. The Philadelphia 76ers are struggling out east, currently 14th in the conference with a record of 2-10. Former Bulldog Paul George is averaging 16.5 points per game. And even without Klay Thompson now, the Warriors seem like it feels like they've been doing great things this season.
Klay Thompson who?
Exactly.
Buddy Hield has been put into that offense and has fit seamlessly alongside Steph Curry, who's healthy for the good chunk of this season so far. And I think that's the biggest key for the Warriors. Can Steph Curry stay healthy? In the years that the Warriors have won the title during this dynasty, Steph Curry has been healthy. When he's not been healthy, they look like a completely different team.
And especially, you do bring up about Steph Curry. But it takes a village, like I said that earlier. But the thing is, the Warriors can find their own destiny, especially, this is early in the season, but when you play in January and February, in the dog days of the basketball season, if you could find ways to get victories, you're able to build your seed. I think the Warriors could probably win the whole entire championship. They could probably win the finals. It's
a long season, and health permitting, obviously. But yes, they're one of the best teams in the NBA right now.
So hopefully the Warriors can find a way to get their offense moving and also try to get the finals. Here at Fresno State, we have a lot of students who want to cover sports after graduation. With the semester wrapping up quickly, students are jumping on opportunities to practice as much as they can before joining us here in 2025. Bianca is with one of those students now. Bianca?
Thank you, Ryan. Next semester, we'll all see a lot of new faces here on your Focus on Sports. Joining me now is McKenna Deeth, who has covered some club sports here on campus and looks forward to covering even more sports next semester. McKenna, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So what has led to your decision to cover sports after you graduate next semester?
So I've played sports all my life, pretty much volleyball, but I've grown up with sports with my family and always having Sunday football games on the TV. So I just grew up knowing that there was nothing else I really wanted to do besides cover sports. There's really nothing else more interesting to me that I would really want to do for a career besides sports. So I just knew from a young age that this was something I was so passionate about and I really wanted to get into as a career.
Yeah, and as we see right here, you've practiced already a little bit, covering some club sports and going to some sporting events. What else have you been doing to prepare yourself?
Yeah, I've been covering some club sports here on campus. I covered the women's club volleyball team last season. I have interviews with some of those players as well. And just the classes on campus have helped me tremendously just get practice, create my own reels. I've really been so lucky to have great classes here on campus as well that have given me the practice. But yeah, the club sports has been big for me. I had a great interview with a club wrestler last year and just little things like that to lead me to the big practice, which is going to be next semester.
Yeah, and what are you looking forward to when you're going to be the one in this chair next semester?
I'm just looking forward to just the experience, the practice on camera all the time. I am just so excited to work with the crew here. I'm so excited. I'm a little nervous, but I think it'll all go well. I'm just looking forward to the practice and the experience before I graduate in May.
Well, I look forward to seeing you next semester. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Back to you, Alan, Brian.
Thank you, Bianca. The Bulldogs have a busy week ahead. Let's talk about it. On Tuesday, the women's volleyball team is in San Jose taking on San Jose State. On Wednesday night, the men's basketball team is home taking on Prairie View A&M. Tip-off is at 7 p.m. On Thursday, the swim and dive teams will be in two places. The swim team will be taking part in the Utah Tech Invite, and the diving team will be taking part in the NAU diving event. Swim and dive team will be there all weekend. On Friday, the equestrian team is home taking on Oklahoma State at the Student Horse Center.
Later that night, the women's basketball team is hosting CSUN at the St. Mark Center. Tip-off is at 6 p.m. On Saturday, the volleyball team is heading to Idaho, taking on Boise State to finish the regular season. The men's basketball team is also on the road, taking on Long Beach State. And the football team plays their final home game of the season as they welcome into town Colorado State. Brian, it's time for our top dog of the week. Who do you got?
I got Kylie Fox. You know what? 5 3-pointers against UCSD. This Bulldog squad is hot right now.
She shot 5 of 10.
That's right.
As a team, they shot 40% from 3. They were firing on all cylinders. I'm going to stick with the women's basketball team, and I'm going to go with Mountain West Player of the Week, Mia Jacobs. She's a nightly threat to go 20, 10, add 4 assists, 3 steals a game. She is someone that is active on both ends of the court, and she's going to be a big reason why the Bulldogs will have a chance to compete for the Mountain West title.
You know, especially with UNLV being the stellar of the conference, the Bulldogs might make it very interesting when it comes to February.
Tasia Santa Maria, very good floor general. Her getting the ball into the right teammates' hands, getting those right looks. Jamie White's team is looking really good.
That's right.
And that's our show today.
Tune in this Wednesday for more sports coverage with Alex Flores during our newscast.
Your weekly Focus on Sports returns Monday, December 2nd. Thank you for joining us.